Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. We are back in scenic Mexico City, or rather, under scenic Mexico City. It's July of 1935, and our investigators have just had an otherworldly experience deep in the Yucatan jungle. So they returned to Mexico City, even more determined to stop the unnatural cult, which is led locally by one Jonathan Brooks. They met a band that had recorded music with Brooks's wife in a mysterious secret recording studio. They found the place and started planning to infiltrate it. They met with a private investigator named Gonchi del Toro, which gave them moral support, but nothing more than that. There was some more serious aid in the form of a few bundles of dynamite that Sal got through a network of shady contacts. And then late Saturday night, our heroes infiltrated Brooks' underground complex via an old colonial ruin next door. They eventually found their way to an underground studio complex, which in turn led to a series of much older Aztec tunnels. And a pit in the floor of one of those tunnels was studded with dozens of tiny, unnatural mouths, and at the bottom, a single massive mouth began to hum along with unseen music and reach its tongue towards James, and Tommy gun fire shattered the quiet of the night. Elsewhere, it is blindingly sunny. The camera pans across a rocky, inhospitable desert, eventually coming to rest near a small, dark cave entrance. After a long moment, we see a man emerge from the darkness, shading his eyes against the dazzling brightness. His features are European, but his skin is the deep tan of one who spends his life out of doors. He wears only a minimal loincloth. His hands and feet are deeply calloused. He's lean to the point of being gaunt, and his unkempt hair and beard have clearly not been tended in many years. But he doesn't seem to be weak or unwell in any way. He moves smoothly with deliberation and precision, and he rarely seems to blink. He scans the horizon slowly, as if expecting something, but doesn't seem disappointed when nothing appears. When his search is complete, he simply lowers his hand, and in the moment before he turns back and re-enters the cave, we see his stomach for the first time, where a hideous, lopsided, half-open mouth, stretching almost from hip to hip, is frozen in an eternal snarl. Let's begin.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So we are we join our heroes again right at the scene where James is looking down into this pit where this mind-altering enormous mouth is starting to stretch and yawn and reach its tongue out towards him. To which James has, I think, understandably responded by opening fire with a Tommy gun. Alice is a few steps back. Adrian and Sal are behind her. Those two haven't seen the thing yet. But I think even if nothing else, seeing James's body language probably tells them that there's something very wrong in there. So I'm going to put us in combat initiative just to sort of keep track of how things are going. And basically in Trail of Cthulhu, it's tracked by the skill you're using. So I've been kind of making assumptions as to what people's skills are. And we'll go through there. And if we need to change things, we can. But not surprisingly, James, you are the first one here. So you want to shoot at this thing?
Yeah, I think that I have kind of taken a kind of bit of a wide stance.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of brace myself, pull the what do they call that on a Tommy gun?
I think it's just the bolt, but I don't know. I'm not a gun guy.
Me neither am I, obviously. Pull the bolt back, and I'm just opening fire, and I'm yelling, go back to everybody behind me. Don't look.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head also, Brian, I'm know how I would verbalize it, but essentially what's going through my head is we made a deal. So any time would be great. Right. So I'm trying to negotiate with whatever this is. And I don't know how to do it.
Well, one thing that you do remember, because a lot of that is kind of burned into your memory, is that it said that it would come when you found the body that the mouths were attached to.
All right. So
this does not seem to be, yeah.
No, James is like, now's good.
Close enough.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm going to
go ahead and give me a firearms roll. Yeah, you only need a 3 to hit this thing. It's a pretty big target.
All right. I'm going to go. Let me see, what do I have for firearms?
And
I've got 8 points.
Right. And because you're using the Tommy gun, you do have 2 points free.
Oh, okay.
To, at least.
So I'm going to spend 1. So I'm going to be +3 all day.
Oh, well, you're going to spend 2 because the +1 is the damage, not the hit. Right?
Oh, okay. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Damage +1. Right. No, but I'm spending 1.
Right.
And getting +2 for free.
That would be if you were point blank. Where are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I got 2 points for free.
Oh no, yeah, you get 2. Oh yeah, if you're spending those 2 points, then yeah, if you're spending the 2 free ones, then you don't need to spend 1 of yours. If you're +2, the target number is 3. You're gonna hit, so you don't actually.
Good point. All right, so I won't spend 1 of mine. I got you.
Cool.
All right, so I will not, because the way this will work, it'll take off my firearms if I do it that way. So we'll just add 2 to whatever.
Sure, exactly. Okay,
that's a 6.
Yep.
And some good little damage.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So just sort of instinctively, as you see this hideous thing, you snap the gun down, you see the little splashes of that oily orange liquid that it's sort of half submerged in, shooting up around it. And it gives this kind of hideous roar. I mean, you can see that you hit it. You can see that it punctured through the skin. It's bleeding. You have no idea how much of an injury you've done to it, because it's enormous. But you've definitely done it a fair blow, and it's in pain, if nothing else. Sal, you hear and see this gunfire going off, directed down into this pit. What would you like to do?
Well, Sal, against better judgment, is going to move up and engage with whatever the thing is. James is shooting at. So,
well, probably to no one's surprise, this is going to require a stability roll.
Okay.
Your target number is 5, and it will be 6 points if you fail the roll. So, judge accordingly.
I'm imagining as Sal walks up, I'm turning to my left to yell, like, did you not hear me? And then I realized it's Sal, and I'm like, okay.
Never mind.
I'll go ahead and spend 4.
Okay. All right. Well, spending 4 will keep you from losing 6. So the math checks out. All right. So basically, I think even as Sal is coming up, he knows this is bad, so he's kind of steeled himself. And you've seen the little versions of this before. So, all right. So you're there. What do you want to do about it?
Yeah, send rounds down range.
Okay. Again, target number of 3.
Roll that 6, baby. 6 damage.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to use the 2 from the gun.
Sure.
And then that should.
Yeah, so the hit's basically guaranteed. Oh, you did those in the wrong order. I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, it's still, it continues to sort of thrash and howl at you. And then it's going to react. It doesn't seem to be enjoying this very much, as you might imagine. So it's basically going to lash out with this this enormous, far too long tongue that it has, and it's going to try and grab James.
my God, it's Gene
Um,
Simmons.
Worse. But James, what's your you're talking about he hit his 4, I'm guessing?
Let me check real quick. Trying to remember where I'm hit threshold was 4, yes, sir.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Well, unfortunately, that tongue is going to hit you. It doesn't do that much damage.
Oh,
but the problem is that it's kind of lashed, it's wrapped around your leg and is in the process of pulling you down into the pit. I would like you to make me an athletics check.
TN4.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and spend 3.
I think this is wise.
Yeah.
You do not want to be down there.
So that puts me at a 5.
Yep, exactly. So it's kind of still wrapped you, but you kind of pull back and brace yourself. Maybe even grabbing onto Sal a little bit to keep yourself from getting pulled over the edge.
Yeah, and if I don't think I could do that and still hold on to the gun, so I think I've tossed the gun to the side as I've tried to. I just can't imagine being grabbed by a large tongue and having the strength and wherewithal to still be armed and dangerous. You know what I mean?
Your call, sir.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I think it's just I look down, I see this thing wrap around my leg, and immediately drop the gun, go down, and like sit my butt on the ground and kind of grab Sal's ankle and grab the ground and like, this is not good.
All right, sounds reasonable. So the kind of wall of mouths around the edges of this pit are just sort of chattering and hissing at you, but there's no real effect from that. Dr. Adrian, what you got?
Well, her friend's kind of being dragged into a pit of mouths, which isn't the best thing for him, I would imagine. I mean, he hasn't seen inside. Maybe it's a lovely vacation spot, but he's not imagining it is. So he's just gonna say, "Oh shit, Alice, grab the dynamite and tell him to get the fuck back," and then it's just going to run up, and try to basically just like grab onto James and drive his heel into this tongue.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a scuffling roll then, if you're going to try and kick it off. And I have to say, this, it's bad when Doc has resorted to language like that.
Yeah.
And your target number on the scuffling is going to be 4, I believe. Yeah, 4.
All right. I will spend 2.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you sort of dig one foot in and just kind of kick at this thing a few times. And you've got sturdy boots, I'm thinking. Probably a little stylish, but yeah, a couple good kicks and the thing eventually kind of loses its grip and unwinds from around James's leg. Go ahead and roll me a damage. It's going to be D6 -1 because scuffling isn't a lot, but hey, every little bit helps.
No, where's oh yeah, it's R, it's /R or /roll?
/R,
either one. Yeah.
Yep. /R 1d6 -1.
1d6 -1.
Ooh, yeah, you got it in a soft spot, it seems.
Don't touch my friend.
This is a Tommy gun.
Yep. And it lashes back and
it's actually a steel-toed boot.
Nice, got your Doc Martens on.
Of course it does.
Yeah, so it kind of coils back down into the pit, readying for another lash. Alice, how about you?
I think I'd grab the dynamite sticks from Sal as he was heading towards the pit.
Okay.
So I've got them, and I think I'm just shouting at the others, get back, and looking around to see if I can find a spot to set off the dynamite. I think my aim would be either to try and get the roof down, collapse something up above, and if I don't see an option to do that, I'll get one of the sticks and try and light it or set it on a timer or something so I can chuck it in there.
Yeah, so the roof, there's like a little sort of concave opening in the roof with a bunch of like wooden and pulley contraptions up there. It looks like they're designed to load buckets down thing, and maybe there's a bridge that goes across this pit. But it's stone above there. It's hard to get a good look at how fragile or collapsible it would be. So I mean, tell you what, just make me a demolitions. Is it demolitions? What's the
explosives?
Explosives. Yeah, just make me a. Yeah. Just make me a roll to see if you have a view of that. Don't spend any points on it. You'll need those, but just to sort of give me a general overview.
Also, Brian, I sent you a message in our group chat.
Oh, okay.
Just want to double check.
Yes, actually, you should. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Adrian did get his first look at this thing, so yeah, that'll be his
I was getting really concerned if there was a reason he wasn't rolling stability.
No.
It's a bad sign when it feels better to roll it.
It's probably fine. So again, it's TN5 with a 6 cost for failure. So,
how do I roll it again? 'Cause I know how to roll the abilities. I forget how to roll the
You
help
click on the.
ability.
I think you just click on stability.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh right, it's listed on the side as well. Sorry, I was looking at the left. There we go. All right. Oof, not quite.
Oh, all right. Well, how does 6 points of stability loss hit, Adrian?
Still positive.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, and this thing hit you hard because it's like you saw what was obviously a tongue. You've been seeing this mouth stuff all along. You kind of knew this was coming, but at the same time, seeing one, just the scale of this compared to everything you've had to deal with before is a little bit mind-blowing.
It's like seeing paintings of somebody on a ledge and then standing on that ledge yourself. It doesn't, nothing prepares you for it.
Yeah, it's another order of magnitude. Alice, so you take a quick look up there, and you think if you were to wedge something, one of these bundles of dynamite up in the mechanism there, I mean, you'd certainly blow all the wooden contraptions and stuff up. You don't think it would be enough to collapse the tunnel. This place is old and pretty sturdy and has withstood earthquakes for a while. So damaging this thing would probably just be a bundle of dynamite in the pit, maybe even into the mouth if you can manage it. Or you can try and maybe retreat back to one of the other Aztec rooms and block things off from there.
I think then I'll use one stick. If I'm like, I'm not going to collapse it here. Try and throw one that's going to go off into the mouth while I'm calling at the others, move back.
Okay.
Because I've still got more so that we can perhaps collapse access somewhere else.
Sure. So what I'll say is, you've got the explosives knowledge, so you're able to, figure out, short fuse, set it, burn it, throw. I'll want an athletics roll just to figure how accurately you get it down there.
Yep.
Again, target number 3.
Okay, well, I'm spending points on that.
Yeah, I think that's probably wise when you're handling a giant bundle of dynamite. Oh, so I'll tell you what, you're not like you. I get the feeling Alice doesn't really want to go up to the edge again, but she kind of lights it and just kind of. I'm thinking like an underhand toss to just go up and straight down into the thing. And just as this mouth in the pit, James and Sal can see this, as it's opening its mouth and, roaring, as it prepares to attack again, this little bundle of a couple sticks of dynamite just go directly into the mouth. And a second later, there is this gout of fire and blast shock energy. Whatever that fluid is that's down there splashes up and around. The little mouths on the wall of the thing just kind of all scream at the same time. And the mouth is still moving, but it is badly damaged.
Move back, move back. Let's get out of here. Back.
And then probably none of you were actively looking at this, but you're going to notice it because you hear it. On the other side of the pit ahead of you, it opened up into what looked like some kind of big chamber that may have been set up as a bedroom. And coming out of the bedroom is a woman in kind of a lacy black dress, black veil, black hat. And she is singing this weird, unearthly melody that for a moment, this is what the mouth was harmonizing with, although it seems to be, rather preoccupied at the moment. And what I'd like you guys to do that can hear it is each make me a stability test with a difficulty of 3 as the song just kind of winds its way into your ears.
Wouldn't we all have gotten a bit deaf from the explosion?
You know what?
I've never loved you more, Naomi.
You know what? I think that is reasonable. Let's make it a difficulty 2. It is a little bit supernatural, so it still gets through, but that is a valid point.
What would be the cost if we fail?
Oh, this isn't going to be a cost. It's going to be an effect.
Oh, perfect.
Right,
Love it.
I'm gonna go for it, and I'm just gonna roll it.
I'm just gonna roll it.
Good thing it's loud in here.
You cannot use arts against me. You cannot use the arts against me.
I was there when it was made.
Right, exactly.
You don't say
All right.
magics to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's this weird you can almost, it's like the song is trying to wrap itself around your brain and make you do something, but you're all like, no, I don't want any of that. And as she as she continues to sing, you can see that she basically kind of pulls the veil back, and you can see that it looks like it is or was the woman who you saw the photos of, but something has happened to her. There's this, her mouth, there's like this split out of her mouth that goes up to where her nose was. So she has this kind of 3-part mouth structure that she's singing out of. It's pretty horrible, honestly. Not enough to generate you a sanity roll because you have bigger problems at the moment, but it's pretty awful. And also you hear, no, actually you wouldn't hear that because, as pointed out, it's very loud in here and there's magic singing. So we come back to James.
So I think realizing what Alice was doing, I'm like crab walking backwards, right? On my rear end. If I get any sign that Doc or Sal is not following Alice's instructions, I would grab them, but I don't think either of you are disobeying Alice. Well, Letitia comes out even before she lifts up her veil. I know who it is.
Right.
I didn't realize what it was until the veil comes up.
Right.
I'm reaching in my jacket holster, my shoulder holster, and I'm going to shoot her.
Okay. That is, again, a reasonable response.
Yeah.
So yeah, your target number is only 3 to hit her.
Okay. So I'm using my Colt. Close range?
Oh no, she's on the other side of the pit and down the hall.
All right.
It's,
so near range?
I'm trying to think how they have the range bands. I would say, yeah, call it near.
Okay. Spending 2.
Would I be allowed to say something at the same time this is happening?
Sure.
Because I think Adrian would have just been calling out, Rosaria! Like trying to call out to her with her original name.
Okay. you make the call out, and right as you say that, her she keeps singing, but her head snaps up, and James, your shot hits her square in the belly, and you see her, the singing kind of wavers and starts to get weak as she collapses to her knees. And she is going to die. There is no, well, assuming she is human, she is going to die. Nobody would survive that.
Yeah.
And as she falls and kind of reaches to hold her stomach, you realize it looks like she might be or have been pregnant. I don't know if that makes this better or worse.
Worse.
Okay.
For the record.
Okay, noted. But yeah, and she is on her knees and bleeding out, and her song starts to drain away to nothing. Sal, you're up.
Sal's going to take a few steps back from the edge, and he's putting rounds into her as well.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and give me a shot. Again, it's just a 3 to hit her.
Okay, let's see here. Damage. Put 1 point into it.
Mm-hmm. Piece of cake. Yeah. Unless you have other intentions, I'm going to say you're able to hit her square in the head and just stop the singing entirely. She collapses to the ground. And then backing up, did I hear you say? Or
Yeah.
Make assumptions? Okay.
I'm taking 1 step back. I need to grab my Tommy gun.
Oh, sure.
Or grab James's Tommy gun.
Yeah, no, you don't want those things to go to waste. They're expensive. All right, at this point, I think you're probably starting to hear some noises from the tunnel behind you. Sounds like maybe footsteps and shouting voices. The mouth, not that you can see the thing in the pit at this point, but you see like that same tongue comes up and is just kind of thrashing wildly at the rim of the pit where you were standing a few seconds ago. But it seems like when it can't see you, it can't, go any farther than that. And it's letting out this horrific, low-pitched screaming noise. That is, in and of itself, if you hadn't seen all the other things you'd seen today, it would be very disturbing. Then someone else comes around the corner from the room ahead of you. And you're backing up and the lighting isn't great, but it looks like some of the photos you've seen of Jonathan Brooks, the guy you were after in this whole thing. He just looks like he's just a guy.
So he's coming from the same room that Letitia came from.
Yes, exactly. And he sees her, on the ground in a puddle of blood, and he's just, no! And he like rushes to her side and begins cradling what's left of her in his arms. Mac, we're back to you.
So James is already having to pull Adrian back. Originally, whenever Leticia first came around the edge. And after seeing her get shot, realizing that, and then seeing her just get shot again, it's a bit of a battle to make him move.
Okay, so you're just kind of frozen.
He also screams out, not in pain like Brooks, just in shock. As you just kind of have to pull him back, otherwise he is not moving.
Okay, fair enough. And Alice?
Alice was moving back into the hallway. She wasn't looking, so she probably hasn't seen this. She heard
hear the gunfire, but yeah.
I heard something weird. I don't want any part of that. I'm moving back through the hallway and I'm shouting, move back, move back. and I'm looking around the hallway to see if I can find a spot to set explosives or use the electronics or something so that we can at least bring down the tunnel.
Yeah. So you've come back into that sort of big round Aztec room that you saw before.
Yeah.
It's got one tunnel off to what is now your left and one to the right. And from the right, which is the stairs you came down, is where you're hearing like running footsteps and shouting. You know, your best bet of if you want to close off this this pit area specifically, your best bet is probably right here in the doorway, because it's kind of the lowest point.
Okay.
So it would need the least amount of rubble to knock it down.
Okay. So I'm just shouting at the others, you know, get back here, get back here. I'm looking up, you know, I think I see somebody's coming, and I'm just trying to rig up something here.
All right, so you're like setting the charge against the wall or the ceiling with the intent to to blow
setting
it
a charge, looking at, you know, looking around and just, you know, where the F are you, you know, get back here.
Yeah. The good news, it's not that long a hallway. It's maybe 20, 30 feet, so they should be able to get here quickly enough. James, we return to you.
Right hand still out after shooting her. Then seeing what Sal does. I don't see it. He's in my peripheral, but I hear it and then see what happens. Lot going on. I see this son of a bitch who I think is responsible for all of this in my head. No sympathy for him as he drops to his knees screaming. My left hand, I'm trying to grab the doctor like by the back of their collar, right? And just doing everything to pull back. And I'm anger everywhere. I'm angry at you, Doc. I'm angry at the situation. Like, I am mad. And I'm gonna keep firing. And at this point, I think I just slightly adjust my aim, and I'm shooting at Brooks now. But I'm also doing everything I can to pull Doc back with me, following the orders from Alice.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. And Adrian, I get the sense, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, that you're not really resisting being pulled back. It was just kind of a frozen moment.
It was a frozen moment, but as Jameson continues to shoot, he is kind of caught a bit on, because he's pulling the collars, a bit choked out, almost what he's trying to say. He's just, stop it! Stop!
Okay. I get the sense James is not stopping.
Oh, no. No, I'm not taking notes at this point.
Fair enough. All right, well, go ahead and give me that firearms roll as you shoot at Mr. Brooks.
Yep.
He's also a target number 3 to hit.
Target 3 to hit. We're saying near. I will spend another point.
Okay. So it kind of creases his shoulder as he's bowing down there, and he doesn't even cry out. You're not sure he even really noticed it. He's so focused on her body. But you know, you hit him. Sal, how about you?
I'll take a step back, and I'm going to dump rounds into Brooks.
Okay.
Going to use the +2 for the Tommy gun, and just yeah.
You guys have no sympathy. I'm very disappointed.
We're not well, Brian.
So that would be a 3.
Yep, exactly, because you're adding those 2 in. All right, yeah. So basically, he's held down, and it looks like he's in the process of starting to pick her up, and you just riddle him with bullets, and he twitches and shakes and collapses to the ground next to her. He is very dead.
Not partly dead.
No, he's extremely dead. So you see the tongue of the mouth continue to thrash around. It's not doing anything significant at this point. I guess we'll move on to Mac. Being dragged back away.
Yeah, just being dragged. Probably cries out again, just at the riddling of bullets. But realizes, still have enough sense to realize there's no one left to tell them to stop shooting at, essentially.
Right.
We're going to stop shooting.
So does start falling back as well.
Okay. And Alice. So I think with everybody there, Cassell, were you backing up as well after you fired?
Yeah, I was reaching down to grab the other Tommy gun,
Right.
and then
Okay.
walking back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you guys are all kind of able to get to the doorway where Alice is currently finishing up, her makeshift demolition of this doorway. Alice?
Do I remember correctly? There were 2 paths down here, right?
Yeah, there were 2
we follow
doors
the
out
path to where
where the mouth
and there's
is.
one door coming in.
So
okay,
let me actually show you the map. I actually did prep this, not that I think we were going to do anything especially tactical on it, but let me do
Just
this
a note:
here.
I cannot hear Naomi at all. I don't see her.
Do a quick refresh, Chris, and you should be back.
Yeah. So basically, this is kind of where things started. So you guys are kind of all here-ish. There's the mouth. She and Brooks are kind of over here. And yeah, so basically this is the hallway you came down. Why is it showing in white? That's like the worst color on here. But on the north side is the stairway you came down, and there's another tunnel off to the south that I don't think have explored.
And can we talk about the pentagrams?
I mean, they're statues. It's a cartography thing. Don't worry about it. Aztecs didn't use pentagrams. That's very European.
I can imagine that Alice, who's been kind of, setting it up and swearing like, "Where are you guys? Where are you guys?" as you head out. I'm looking at the stairs and I'm looking at the other entrance. And I think I'm going to say I'll light the fuse. Let's, do we hide there? Do we ambush the others? And I'm lighting the fuse. So
okay.
And are you going left or right, Alice?
I don't know. I think probably left.
Yeah, that's where the noises aren't.
Yeah, where the noises aren't, and I'd kind of put a fuse long enough. Well, I'm hoping long enough for us to get to
so are we.
The other tunnel.
Yeah. All right. So you're heading over there. All right. We circle back around to James. Are you following?
Yeah. I am in no decision making at all. I'm literally going to. If Alice is going left, then Doc and I are going left. So,
all right.
It's no looking backwards, looking forwards. As soon as you are like, I realize you're coming our way, I'm going to let go of you. I'm not going to drag you if you're coming. I think what I will do though, Brian, is establish myself in the circular room and gun fired or pointed, I'm sorry, at the stairs. And I am like with my hand waving to have the rest of you go while I try to cover the stairs.
All right. Makes sense. Sal?
Sal's going to step right next to James, bring his Tommy gun up, and then kind of tap him on the back. Says, "I've got this. I've got better firepower."
Yeah, as soon as I see what you have in your hands compared to what I do, I'm then gonna, follow Doc and Alice.
Okay, and Adrian.
Is going to be just
actually no. I'm sorry. I do have someone that goes before you. My bad.
Actually, can I hand the Tommy gun, James's Tommy gun?
Yeah,
back
I think so. Yeah.
Great. I grab it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So basically, you like I say, you hear some more shouting and stuff down here, and you see there's like a couple people on the stairs. The first one of them is what looks like just one of the kind of guards you saw hanging around outside. He too has a Tommy gun, and he is going to raise it and fire at the three of you that are all kind of clamped together there. So he is not a particularly good shot.
Good answer.
But Let's see. I'm pretty sure James and Sal are both target numbers 4 to be hit. Alice, is your target number
I'm 3.
4 or 3? You're a 3. All right, cool. So let's do it this way. This will be James. That's a hit. Sal. No. No. Okay, hold on. I'm rolling against multiple targets. I'm checking the multi-fire rules since they rarely come up. All right. So actually, only James is going to be hit by this.
Yep.
You lucky man.
Because the rest are -1, right?
They're actually -2. They're all -2 because he's shooting at 3 targets.
Got it. Right.
He rolled well enough that he hits you anyway. So that's 4 damage to James.
Cool.
He's still in positives.
Yeah, I'm down to 6 now.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. So he basically just rips off a burst standing there, and most of the stuff skimmers, ricochets around the floor of the thing, but a couple slugs do hit James. And you can tell that there are more people behind him. Now we can move on to Adrian.
Oh yay! How fun! Oh great! In the chaos of that just sudden Tommy gun shooting off, I think would probably instinctually duck down, and then once it stops, starts just taking going along the perimeter.
Okay.
To keep going out of this room, but we'll stop by the statue.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can. If you want, you can be on the other side of the statue, get a little bit of cover.
Let me do that.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm protected by the pentagram.
Yes, everything is fine and safe.
Everything is so wonderful.
Exactly. And then Alice, we got you. Or you just continuing to run?
I'm just shouting at the others, back into the tunnel, take cover, move back.
Okay.
It's going to go off any minute now. Yep. So move back, take cover. All right, and I think I'm just going to
over here-ish.
Slide, jump, cover my ears and into the tunnel.
Yep. Okay, so we circle back to James, who is now reunited with his trusty Tommy gun.
Do I have any sense of how safe Adrian is where they are?
I mean, they've got some cover. It's not the best angle, so I mean, the dock is still vulnerable. But
relative to Alice's handiwork, though,
you don't really have a lot of demolitions experience.
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking, Adrian, I give you the what the hell look. And I'm gonna keep retreating, but towards you now. And when originally I was in run mode, I've now turned sideways and I'm pointing the gun. And if I have a target, I will use it.
Oh, you definitely have a target.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna fire, but I'm generally annoyed.
No, I think that's reasonable.
All right, so I have got 5 left in firearms. We're using the Tommy gun. Close. Is that close or near?
It's going to be near.
Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and spend another 2.
Okay.
So with the +2, obviously that's huge.
Yeah.
Damage is only 1 though.
Damage is actually 2 because it is +1 on the damage
Got it.
rolls. So yeah, you hurt him and kind of force him to duck back, but you have not taken him out yet. And go ahead, feel free to move yourself on the map to where you want to be. All right, Sal?
Pretty much the same thing. I'm going to engage that Tommy gun wielding punk and fall back toward Alice.
All right, sounds good.
Let's see here. Let me put my character sheet back up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to spend 1 for my firearms pool.
Mm-hmm.
Was target 4 for him or 3?
Target is 4 for him.
Okay, I will spend 1 for my pool, and then the 2 from the Tommy gun.
Well, never mind. You spent the 2 from the Tommy. That was a one-time thing, but
Okay, so
you hit him easily anyway. It's not
Yep.
a problem. All right, so that is more than enough damage to take him down in a blaze of automatic 45 fire. So he collapses on the stairs and his gun goes scuttling off somewhere. Right, and you have all moved back. Cool. You see, so I'm just gonna remove that guy from the picture. The next guy on the stairs looks rather like the big Russian that you met in the park. And he is not going all the way down the stairs because that seems like a terrible idea. So he's actually got a 45. He's just going to try and take a shot at Sal because he doesn't have a really good angle. And he's gonna lose his bonus for that, and just misses Sal. It goes carrying off the wall behind the 4 of you, you hear him yelling, "Get down there!" And the people who are with him do not seem quite as inclined to get down there after seeing what happened to their buddy. So we move on to Adrian.
All right. Do you mind if I share something from his character sheet real quick?
Sure.
Just because I quite like this little aspect of Trail of Cthulhu. The reason that Adrian didn't completely leave the room and stopped at the statue is because of his drive, which is artistic sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically preservation. At the moment, after seeing how much destruction we've brought, being in a room that survived thousands of years and suddenly realizing these are going to be destroyed immediately upon us leaving,
Mm-hmm.
he cannot ignore his drive. He can't just leave a room that they're about to destroy that carries history of people who have already lost so much history.
So are you just sort of lingering with it? Are you trying to memorize it so you can draw it later?
I think that's his. I think that is kind of what's going through his head, is that he loses track of what's happening for a moment and just lingers.
Mm-hmm.
Tries to like start memorizing it, but upon James running up, just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh right, yeah, okay.
Oh, right. There's a lot of gunfire going on right now. Yeah, and it's got this thing where it's sort of looking up to the heavens, and it's sort of sorrowful and at the same time like weirdly serene. And it just, the whole moment is very surreal as you sort of look upon this thing that is probably not going to survive the day after hundreds of years here.
How big is it? Would Adrian be able to lift it?
It's about person sized, so
Okay.
no.
And it's made of stone.
Yeah,
even
no,
if it
it's
was
not
like half
going
my
anywhere.
size, I was not going to be able to carry it.
Even Sal is not likely to be able to move this thing. Okay, and finally we get to Alice.
I'm thinking Alice may have been a bit enthusiastic with the she may have used all the dynamite in the hall, and I can imagine that kind of about now, sometime around now, it's gonna go off.
Yeah, if you guess the fuse right, it should be any second.
It's any minute now. So I'm just, I'm shouting at the others. I'm moving back into the hall. Is get back here, get back here. And okay. I think I may see that James. Well, I don't know if I'd see that James is wounded, but if I do, I think
you probably saw him jerk back from a hit.
Yeah,
but it's hard to see.
I think I'm grabbing I'm grabbing bandages. I'm going into nurse mode now. But at the same time, I'm, get here, get out of there. So.
Okay.
So I'm moving back into the tunnel and just calling the others to, take cover, come here.
All right. So, true to form, this is the point when the dynamite goes off. I think it's safe to say that this is probably the closest any of you have been to a dynamite explosion. And it is horrifyingly loud. There's a shock wave and a bunch of smoke and dust and blast comes out, rolling over you in all directions. I think, Sal and James, you're far enough away to avoid like the main damage of the blast, but there's like a shower of stone shrapnel and stuff coming in your direction. So you're probably each going to take a little bit of damage.
Okay.
So for James, it just kind of impacts off your coat. And for Sal, a piece hits you square in the head and kind of rattles you for a minute. I think you're probably still positive with 4 damage.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, so it rings your bell a little bit, but nothing too severe. You probably got like a trickle of blood going down your temple, not that you can see it. And as the dust starts to clear, it looks like that tunnel is well and truly collapsed. The statues on that side of the thing again got hit with some shrapnel and pitted and damaged, but they're mostly intact, which may make Adrian
feel better, Adrian.
Exactly. But that tunnel would need significant effort to dig out. And we come back around to James. The smoke and dust in here is actually providing decent cover in both directions.
Do I feel comfortable that the other 3 of you are moving towards the tunnel? And okay, then let's keep going. I am limping. I am at this point. If you didn't notice before, Alice, you can see my thigh has been hit pretty decently. So I'm not the fastest guy. Don't put me in a foot race right now, but
so I'm going to, at least for the moment, take us out of combat as you guys, kind of move down this hall under cover of darkness. There's a couple of sort of stray shots behind you that look like they're mostly, discouragement rather than trying to actually hit anything because they can't see you. You can't see them. But you guys are able to make your way down the hall. And probably about 40, 50 feet down that hall, I'm guessing somebody has a flashlight or something because there's no lighting run down this tunnel. But I think it's reasonable to assume that one of you would have some kind of light source. And about 40 or 50 feet down the hall, you see that this end of the tunnel is also caved in.
Beautiful.
And you were in a dead end. Why don't we take a 10-minute break and let you think about what you've done?
Oh, boy. We'll be right back.
Well, so the explosions and the gunfire have kind of died away as the four of you are hunkered down in this dead-end, caved-in tunnel. Outside in the room beyond, it's still, it's still dark and dusty. But you hear some footsteps out there on the stone, kind of cautiously walking around. And then you hear a voice call down the hallway. There's no way out,
I shoot the don't anybody say a word look.
Adrian was in the process of opening his mouth.
I'm imagining I'm on the ground, kind of sitting with the Tommy gun pointed towards our friends, but also kind of like nodding my head down at my thigh, and looking at you, Alice. I don't think any,
Alice is in nurse mode. She's, checking which Sal's bleeding profusely, but that's a head wound. This thigh, perhaps an artery. So,
yeah, I think Sal, to your trained eye, looks a little less immediate in terms of need. Yeah. Neither of them are really in desperate need, but they're both pretty banged up.
Patching them up right away, and perhaps giving you both, here's some aspirin or some kind of painkiller, something.
Yep.
And just bandaging it up, wiping it away.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt all that much now, but when the adrenaline wears off, it's gonna suck.
Right.
Hey, Alice, you have that rifle?
Was that to me, Sal? I'm sorry.
No, it's to Alice.
Oh,
Alice, I grabbed the rifle and I'm like, okay, here's, and I hand it to Sal.
Okay, Sal's going to settle into a prone position and just kind of about a yard and a half off the wall and just aim down toward the stairs.
Okay.
And if visibility makes it so they can see, he will engage in the target that shows up.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, it's like you can see, like, not in the direct line of sight you've got down this hallway to the opposite one, but you can see, like, off to the right of that, there is there's clearly a light, like there's a flashlight being played around on that side. And you hear it sounds like the same voice that had that Russian accent, making some quiet commands, it sounds like. And then you see a tall figure that you think is probably the Russian move up the stairs. So you'd get a shot at him. He's moving pretty quick, like he knows you have line of sight, but you can certainly take a shot if you'd like.
I will certainly take a shot.
All right.
I will spend...
Your target number is 4 to hit him.
Okay, I will spend 3 points.
Okay.
Nice.
It's like I've had enough of your shit. Is what I'm
Yes.
We don't know Sal's limit, but we may have found it.
I assume they're near range?
No, this one is going to be, he's like on the other hallway on the other side of the room.
So far. Oh, you have long range, yeah.
Yeah.
Be straight up damage.
Ooh. So Sal apparently had some sniper training in the Mafia. We didn't know they did that a lot, but you do what is needful.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. You hit him, he's honestly, if he hadn't been moving quite as fast, you probably would have hit him in the head. As it is, you hit him square in the top of the back, and he is like thrown forward by the bullet, and you see him scrabbling up the stairs. So he's not dead, but he is clearly very badly hurt.
Healthy boy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And you hear, various curses in Russian, which probably none of you speak.
Yep.
But yeah, he scrambles up around it. And then it is a long period of quiet. There are a couple guys out there, You can hear like a little bit of shifting of feet and occasionally like some whispered voices here and there, but they don't seem inclined to come in after you. It sounds like they're just waiting to see what you do.
Sal, I'm going to turn
Alice.
to you. Oh, go ahead, Alice.
I think Alice will whisper, perhaps if we tell them that, well, whatever that thing and Brooks is, that they're dead, it's, maybe we can get them to leave or surrender.
I take your cue immediately,
Mm-hmm.
and I yell down that hallway, the woman's dead, Brooks is dead, it's over. We're coming out either to an empty room or through you.
Okay. I would like you to spend me a point or two of intimidation. Certainly seems like it could be good. I could also see like bargain. I could see a case being made for bargain. What do you got?
I'm going to spend 2 intimidation.
Okay. So you there's a long kind of silent pause, and you hear a little bit of whispered back and forth in Spanish, and then one of the voices just says, "Okay."
I'm going to just kind of get up, stand up, and
by the way, Naomi, if you wanted to spend a point or two of first aid on these 2 guys, you would have had time.
Definitely
to do
do. I'll do that.
Great.
I'll spend. Let me see. I think if I spend first aid,
it's 3 per. I think.
Yeah, 3. So 3. So I'll spend. How much? How much do you want, both of you?
I'm at 5 of 12, so I'll let you decide.
2 on both. I've got.
Yeah.
All right, so you each get 6 health back.
Beautiful. I know I liked you.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I was saying, and then you just get that. Okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel right.
We don't have a choice, Doc. But I agree.
I'm going to continue to scan with the rifle, and if I see anybody, I'm going to put rounds.
Yeah, none of them are exposing themselves to your line of sight.
So under your cover, Sal, I'm up against the wall, and I'm just working my way down, ready to open fire.
Okay. So you get up to the end of the hallway, into the room. You're going to look around the corner, see what you see?
Yep.
All right. So there are 3 of these guys down here. Again, they look like just kind of the generic guard types that were up above. And they're all kind of laser focused on the doorway where you are. A couple of them have pistols, and one guy has a Tommy gun kind of slung over his back. None of them are, I would say they probably have put the pistols away. They're not holding them in their hands, and they're just kind of, they've got their hands kind of out in front of them. Like, I don't have weapons, but they're still reasonable because know that they could draw if you pulled something. But honestly, they look pretty demoralized.
So Tommy gun, not at the hip anymore. I'm up on the shoulder and just pointing at them, but acknowledging the fact that they're being okay.
They kind of instinctively punch back a little bit, but they don't draw.
And I yell clear down the hallway to Sal. And
Sal's going to get up, sling the rifle, and grab his Tommy gun.
Okay.
And then it's going to step out beside James and, bring the Chicago typewriter up to bear.
All right. And Alice and Adrian, you guys following?
Yeah. I imagine we're kind of back to back, and everybody's in this kind of Mexican standoff.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Perfect.
As we move through the room, leaving them here and us moving to the stairs.
Yeah. So you move through in and up. What you got, Mac?
Oh, just do a quick refresh. Naomi cut out for me. Be right back. Oh no, back.
Yeah, so you guys kind of move in a tight, nervous little ball of people, keeping these guys, and they just kind of, especially Adrian would notice this. They've got this kind of slumped, we're screwed look about them, but they do not look inclined to challenge the Tommy guns that are facing them. So they kind of just watch as you get to the stairs. Sal, you see a bright smear of blood on the stairs where you hit the Russian, and it sort of trails off up the stairway back the way you came.
And I'm going to switch focus to the stairs now, and
yeah, kind of room clearing drill at this point.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So there's
as soon as we're there, focusing on the blood. Let's follow the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
Yeah. So you
and I'm looking at yeah. The Russian guy might know stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you make your way back up the stairs and into the sort of room that the hidden studio was built inside.
May I do something real quick before we leave this room with the people?
Mm-hmm.
Just at the top of the stairs, we'll just turn around and just say, please just go home.
Okay. And they kind of look at each other, and they don't actually shrug, but that's kind of the reaction you get, is like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. They look pretty beat down, frankly. So the blood trail goes over to the door that leads back into the studio. And so you can make your way over to that door. It's closed.
Yeah, I think we're walking until we see a Russian. So
okay. Yeah, and this is. Sorry, go ahead.
You'll want to, when we open this door, get away from the line of sight of the door in case he's holed up there with the pistol.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys, open the door. James and Sal have both done this kind of thing before, though in very different contexts.
Yes.
So, I imagine, it's pretty good. One of you opens the door, the other one's, pointing down from the side, so you're not standing there. The first little hall is there. You go through the control room, same thing. The blood trail continues to sort of lead back the way you came to what you think was the... Actually... when you get out to the main hallway, there's a hallway you came down, which is the one that came from the ruins. And then there's one the other way that looked like it was leading into the basement of the house, and he went that way.
Yeah.
So you following him? Okay. You continue to make your way along. You're back up to that, that stairway leading up. Excuse me. The blood continues up the steps, so you keep going. It actually opens up into like a little outdoor garden area. And there's a door leading into the house from there. It's actually was quite nice here. There's a little wall fountain along the wall, with old Aztec motifs and stuff on it. The blood trail is getting sparser now, so either he's found a way to bandage it, or it's just stopping the bleeding slowly. But it does look like it's going into the house. You make your way inside. The whole place is kind of a pigsty. I mean, there's a lot of dirty dishes you just kind of stacked on every available surface with, crumbs and grease on them. A lot of, cigarette stubs and old newspapers and magazines. There's a couple of record players. There might have been at one point maybe 24 people living here. Don't see any of them now. There's like little boxes and just kind of loose piles of .45 ammunition just scattered all over the place. And also a bunch of those little glass vials that you've seen before in a couple different places with traces of whatever that orange stuff was. The whole place stinks of BO. There's just dirty mattresses scattered all over the floor. There are a couple rooms that are locked that look like they're, not part of the main house. I mean, you guys, I figure you're cautious enough that you kind of do a sweep of the house before you do too much digging around. And it looks like either the Russian is hiding somewhere in one of those locked rooms or he's left.
Okay.
So, Sal, I'm thinking clear the unlocked.
Yep.
And then start kicking some doors.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so you do a sweep through and it looks like, what we in the 21st century might call a crack house. This is basically a place where a bunch of people with a bunch of guns were holed up running whatever operation this was. But it doesn't look like that many of them were here, and most of the ones that you ran into were downstairs. So it looks empty from what you can see.
Even the doors that we kicked down?
No, when you get to the doors kicked down, the first one is not a lot cleaner, but it's like at least got nice stuff in it. You kind of do a sweep through looking for anything useful, and you do find a letter, or I mean, letter is a strong word for it. It looks like some kind of screed, or it's entitled "The Holy Truth of the Pyramid of Blood," which gives you some idea of the kind of contact you're going through.
Want me to give it a read for?
I'm assuming
chat?
that, kicking doors. Sorry.
I would love that if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Just zoom in a little if I can.
Yeah.
Okay. The holy truth of the pyramid of blood. The greatest lie that was ever told by the liar from beyond was in the name which was no name, the epithet of liar itself. This is the great test of faith, to see that that greatest lie is the only lie. For the liar cloaks himself in that singularity of falsehood in order to shield itself from the unworthy. Only to the worthy is its great truth revealed, and only the worthy can hear the true harmony of its song. Thus, as one of the chosen, as one of the worthy, I am proud to proclaim the great truth. The liar from beyond is Golgoroth. From his many mouths the great truth is sprung, and in the land of Glucksmal his chosen people shall congregate and look upon him and feel humility in the great warmth of his truth. Thus was great Golgoroth named the Fisher from beyond, for he reaches forth into the worlds beyond Glucksmal to find the worthy and to return to them, to the home which was destined for them. The great liar Tremel will not fear to kill those who seek to reveal his lies, for the lies he tells are that the truth of the liar from beyond. Those who come to suspect the great liar have met with ill ends. Such was the fate of George Ayers, who never returned from the fabled lands of Dalol. I must be careful if I wish to reach Glucksmal, and reach it I must, for surely I am of the chosen. If you read these words, then it is because I have passed to Glucksmal. Know ye that the path for your own redemption lies through Chichen Juchol, through the Pyramid of Blood. There you shall feel the kiss of the liar, the kiss, which is the promise of his many mouths.
I love a good dramatic reading, man. Yeah, so basically, you guys spent rather more time than you would have liked in close contact with the thing in Chichen Shoshul. And this seems to be what it was angry with, is that something is pretending it's it. So this liar from beyond is kind of taking its place or pretending to be this Golgoroth or whatever it was. So it looks like Brooks at least fell for it.
So we're thinking. Actually, James isn't thinking. I don't
Sure,
think James is
that's
sorting
fair.
through that. Never mind. I'll shut up.
Yeah. James is like, that's a later thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I assume that, I assume that kicking down doors makes noise.
Yeah.
Is that if we think that he's still in the house, maybe Alice will call out and say, Brooks is dead. Sal shot you in the back. You're bleeding out. I'm a nurse. If you want to live, surrender.
There's no
Or otherwise, we'll put you in the ground just like we did Brooks and his abomination.
Nice. But yeah, there is no response. So if he's here, he's either, unconscious or laying low. So you've got that one last door, which has probably the best quality of lock of the bunch. Probably takes a couple tries to knock the thing down. But this is, again, a bedroom. Some of the clothing and stuff in here is for a pretty big guy, so your guess is that it would be the Russian's room. He's not here. But as you're looking around, I suspect James is probably the first one to notice this. There are some scuff marks like next to the bed as though it had been moved back and forth.
Okay. So let's move it back.
Okay. You slide it out and there is a loose floorboard.
Mm-hmm.
And under that, there is a small safe, like a document safe.
Okay. We'll lift it out.
Okay. It's not that heavy.
Not really knowing what this thing looks like. Is this something that we can break? Is this something we can try to open? What?
I mean, it's something that, you could lockpick.
Okay.
If there was someone with locksmithing skills,
I
which I'm
slide it
pretty
towards
sure
you,
there
Sal.
are.
I think. If he's gone, is he gone? Is he gone? Then
Yeah.
let's get out of here. Let's
Take it with us.
Okay. Yeah, it's
burn the
not
place
heavy.
down and get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I'm gonna look around for any liquor bottles, which I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there are some. Yeah.
some.
Mhm.
And Alice is turning into a bit of a pyro.
Okay.
So
That's fair. The good news is apparently the stone was enough to block the sounds of gunfire from the neighbors because there's no police sirens or anything else. No one seems to be paying any attention. It's around midnight on a Saturday, so there are some people going back and forth on the street, but no one seems to be paying this place any attention. So it's a simple matter for you to spell out some high proof alcohol and
Mattresses.
Yeah, exactly. There is plenty of flammable material here.
let's go through the front door.
I
Okay.
say go through the tunnel. Just because in case people are watching.
No. We're not going back down there.
Okay.
Out the front door. And
Okay.
we're not going back down there.
Okay. I will remind you, although you're probably aware of this, that you all look like hell.
Mhm.
You've got blood and dirt and other fluids all over you. So
It's
if you're
midnight.
on the
It's
in the
next to us.
sidewalk, you'll be noticed.
Yeah. As long as I don't see any policia, and
Mhm.
I don't care what anybody sees.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so you guys, set the blaze and head out. I mean, you're waiting to make sure it catches, or are you just gonna head out?
As soon as we kind of see that it starts to catch, I
Mhm.
imagine that we're out the front door.
Yeah, probably
Into the
before it's
dark.
particularly visible from outside. Okay. Yes, you make your way out, and there are definitely some people kind of wobbling their way home from the clubs. And, certainly some of them stop and stare and look at you as you go and make comments to each other, but nobody really freaks out or calls the police. And you are able to head off into the night. Where are you going?
Back to the hotel.
Okay.
I guess.
Kind of clean up a little bit before we walk through the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, you do the best you can. There's not a lot to do, but this way it looks like maybe you fell down and rolled down a steep grade rather than being in a gunfight.
Long night of drinking.
Yeah, people who know will recognize that you smell like cordite. There's not a lot you can do about that at this point.
And perhaps snagged a bottle somewhere along the road, the way, and as we pass the concierge, trying holding up James or Sal, and Alice is going to shoot a look to the concierge and say, a bit too much of a bender. We'll pay extra for the cleaning, sorry, and just moving everybody up to one of our rooms. I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah, the concierge doesn't even look like he was paying attention. He's like reading a book, and he kind of just looks up and nods and goes back. He doesn't even appear to notice that you've got anything unusual going on. So you're able to get back up to your rooms.
Whose room do we go to?
I'll offer mine.
Okay. All right, so you get back in. And for the first time, you kind of have a moment to really decompress and think about what's happened this evening. You've definitely taken out Brooks and his partner, lover, wife monster. You're not sure if the mouth is dead, but it's blocked off from anybody that doesn't spend a huge amount of effort. The local cult HQ is basically destroyed. The Russian's a loose end, but he's probably not anxious to tangle with you again right now. What are you thinking? How's everybody feeling?
At some point, pretty early on, once we get up to the room, I think with Ernest, I'm going to throw out there, are we done? Did we do it?
I don't think so. And
Why?
Alice is just... It doesn't feel finished. It's not done yet. It doesn't feel finished. And Alice is just, methodically checking everybody and is in, nurse mode. But it's not done yet. We've got the Russian guy.
I look pretty dejected.
James really wants this to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's done, Doc? Doesn't feel ready to me.
There's still unknown amount of connections in different countries.
Hey, Sal, you think you can open this?
Yeah,
Alice?
sure.
Somebody?
I will go ahead and pull out my lock picks and get to work.
Sure, yeah, if you spend me a point of lock picking, it's not a particularly complicated lock. And in there you find it looks like I'm going to say you find like there are some blood smeared fingerprints on the little shelf in the thing. So somebody was just in here. So if there was money or any valuables in there, it's gone. You do, however, find a telegram in English that I will show you. That's like the last piece that seems to be left in here.
Is that a new name for us, Loman?
Yep.
but it's Siam again.
Yep.
Bangkok.
And sorry, Brian, for not remembering. Give me an idea of that date versus today.
Today you are now in the early morning of July 28th.
Okay,
So this was 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
This was before the expedition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian guy knows stuff. We need to see if we can track down the Russian.
Great.
Yeah. At what point do we call this done? I mean, I just, I don't know.
They were making the drugs there. So we're going to Siam now? Is this all on us?
Well, I think there's nobody else, but we're not done yet. We didn't find where the mouths come from. And Alice shuts up after saying that again, and sits down in a corner.
I think I had a drink in my hand, and out of just sheer just frustration and agreeing with Alice silently, I just slammed the drink down on the table.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. Doc, what was all the lying, not lying, truth-telling pyramid bullshit you were reading?
About the same as any cult. Division, schisms, vying for power. Everyone believes that they're the truth. And everyone's killing each other over it.
So now it's Loman? Is that what we're doing?
Loman's a messenger for SS, it seems. We already know about SS. We got a lot of his letters already.
So just as a reminder, because it's been a while since you guys had it, but in the ledgers that you found back in LA, it looks like the main production centers for this group were LA, Mexico City, Bangkok, and Malta.
And this is to all four of you. Like, what would we consider the hottest lead, right? If we're looking at those two locations.
Bangkok. But we need more info, and the Russians got it. I say we see if we can't track down the Russian.
Do we have any leads on that?
Well, Gonchi might be able to. And perhaps, Sal shot him in the back. He's going to need medical attention someplace. So,
I doubt he goes to the hospital,
check
though.
the hospitals.
I doubt he goes to the hospital. Brings too much heat down.
See if Gonchi?
Yeah. I'm going to bed though.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think sleep is something that may be hard to come by, but it's something everybody wants at this point.
Yeah, I got to shower first.
Fair.
And a shower. Shower first.
I'm kind of hungry too.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So it sounds So it sounds like everybody's gonna tidy up and get what sleep you can.
Yeah.
May I
Was
do
there a way
something?
to get
Of
your
course.
stability back?
That normally comes back a little bit over time. You did also get rid of some unpleasant things. So let me see. There may be a bonus coming back to you now. So while I'm looking at that, Mac, you were saying.
I'm actually going to use one of the ways that helps get back stability. You need to have it for a lot longer than he has time for, but he's
Mhm.
going to use one of his I think it's his item from the item location person, I believe.
Okay.
The symbol?
The solace, that was it. Solace
Right.
symbol safety.
Mhm.
Using the symbol.
Okay. Which now that was an old sketch you had, if I remember.
It was the last sketch they got from an old friend in university. And they're just sat on their bed looking at this. It's very well kept. They've managed to keep it extremely well preserved for the past 3 or so years.
Mm-hmm.
The first piece of damage it gets is whenever they don't realize they started crying. They only notice whenever it drips onto the sketch. And they're just sat there with that sketch. We have to make the reasons. And just repeating that to themselves.
I like it.
I think Alice would use her symbol. She's taking a shower, and when she comes out, she goes through her luggage and finds some dog tags on a chain. And she sits on the bed, and it's just passing it through her hands, and then puts it around her neck underneath her night shift. Just holds it and just lays there.
I'm not doing any reading. I'm going right to bed.
Okay. All right. Well, the night passes. I won't say restfully because I imagine all of you have a hard time getting to or staying asleep. But I will say that all of you, I feel like all four of you have kind of fulfilled your drives in your own way during this expedition. And, regardless of what may still remain, you've done a large part here. So I'm going to give everybody 2 stability back. And, if you have more time to rest or spend some time talking to the doc or whoever, that may be able to go up from there. What's the plan in the morning? You get together, have some breakfast. Then I think there was a plan to try and find Mr. Del Toro.
I'm going to call Bianca.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You head down to there's a phone booth in the lobby, basically. And you go through, until you find an operator who speaks enough English, or you speak your English slowly and loudly enough that they are able to get your way through. After a few rings, the phone picks up. Hello?
Hey, babe, it's me.
Oh my God, are you okay? It's been forever.
Yeah. It's this job is well, now we gotta go to some foreign land, Bangkok, something like that.
Oh, sure, Bangkok. I hear stories about Bangkok. I know why you're going.
Yeah, well, I don't know, babe. This one's kind of weird.
Yeah. Hey, did you order some kind of book or something?
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't think so.
Yeah,
You sent her a book.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No, I
Thank
got
you.
that. I got the one that you sent, but then another guy shows up a couple weeks ago. This really kind of gross, grubby looking guy, face full of snot and everything, looked like he hadn't had a bath in weeks. And he said he had a book for you. and he gives me this, or he tries to give me this big, gross looking, like old book with all the, pages sticking out and everything everywhere. It was all greasy, and I didn't even want to touch it, but so he's like, I'll give it to you if you give me a kiss. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to give you a kiss, you gross old bastard. But he starts getting more and more upset, and eventually he just yells, take it. He'll be mad if I don't give it to you. Just take it. And he kind of throws it down in the living room floor and walks off. I got it wrapped up in a towel in the bathroom. I don't want to touch it.
Did you get the name of this, Chuckles?
Nah, he didn't say nothing. All he said was, I'm bringing you, I brought this for you, for Sal, he says.
Well, description doesn't ring a bell, but I'm going to have to break his fucking legs if we come across it.
Yeah, I guess. So what should I do with this thing? Should I just should I throw it away? I didn't want to do it in case it was something important.
Just put it with my on my desk with the business stuff, the books and whatnot.
All right. You doing okay other than that?
There's a long pause. And Sal says, I'm just tired in my soul.
Oh, baby. Come home to me soon, okay?
I will. Take care of yourself, doll.
Yeah. I love you, Sal.
Love you too, baby. Bye.
All righty. Bye.
I'm going to go to the others and say, tell them what Bianca told me about the books, the sheets, and so you guys know me. I'm not a big reader. I don't know who the hell would be sending me books.
Did she get the book you sent?
Yeah. Got it. This was something else. Wild papers and some greasy, grimy-looking guy.
Sal, how high up are you in your business? Because I imagine getting your address shouldn't be that easy, let alone your partner's.
Well, I mean, I'm not the top dog. Maybe one day, but I'm no
bold aspirations. Continue.
Foot soldier either. So,
Who's tied to this that would know where she is?
I mean, hell, she doesn't even share my last name. We're not married.
Yeah. Well, could it have come from... This doesn't make any sense.
He said some.
We all came in from Chicago,
dirty...
didn't we?
I think most of you did, yeah.
But we didn't tell anybody in LA.
And that description, that's none of the boys either.
Mm-mm.
I stand up and walk. Oh, go ahead, Alice.
Perhaps we need to head to Chicago before we go to Bangkok. Make sure your lady friend's all right.
I think that's a good idea. And I stand up and I walk out. And I'm going to go to the phone booth as well, Brian. And I'm going to call my sister, who's the closest I have in Chicago.
Okay.
And just kind of pass it off and, hey, haven't talked in a while. How you been? And I'm not going to fish, but I just want to make sure she didn't get a book delivered or something like that, right? Like, is this targeted to Sal or is this some sort of threat? Like, I just want to make sure it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So she sounds fine.
Okay.
She's busy with family stuff. Well, let me ask this. First of all, how good do you think James is at sort of passing it off as though everything's okay, or do you even bother?
Yeah, I do a half-ass effort. I'm sure she's
Mhm.
concerned. I haven't talked to her in a while. Haven't shown up for Sunday dinner in a while.
Mhm.
So I'm sure
Mhm.
there's a little bit of me saying I'm traveling for work, kind of BS, and it's been exhausting, and I'm hoping to wrap things up soon. So I'm trying to pass my inability to sound okay. I'm trying to pass off for another reason.
Right. Okay. I mean, and she kind of gives you the, "Hey, are you okay?"
Yep.
But she doesn't press it after that because
Okay.
she knows you well enough. You also, I mean, you get the sense that there might be a little of the same coming from her, like there is something that's bothering her, but she's not. She's sort of masking it.
Okay. I'll press it.
Okay. She's like, "No, I've just been having these weird nightmares lately. I'm
Like
not
what?
sleeping real good." Oh, I don't know, man. It's hard to even remember it. It's like I keep seeing this old. What do you have, those like steppy pyramids like they have in, I don't know, in Mexico or South America or Peru or wherever it is.
Uh-huh.
And I keep seeing you like being hauled up on one of those, and they're trying to stab you or something. It doesn't make any sense. It's a dumb dream. I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Mary, but have you talked to anybody new? Has anybody given you anything recently? Anybody said anything about me to you?
No, are you in trouble,
I don't know, Mary.
Jimmy?
I don't know. But you can't think of anything that's happened before the dreams.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not on a pyramid. Nobody's stabbing me.
Okay.
But hey, I'm gonna call again next week. Just think if there was anything that happened before the dream started for me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What are you being a psychiatrist now?
Yeah, that's what I am, Mary.
Sure.
I may be coming back home for a bit. I'll swing by and see you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
All right. Take care of yourself, Jimmy.
Yeah.
All righty.
I go right back to the breakfast table. And I said, I just called my sister, and she's dreaming of Aztec pyramids and me getting stabbed on them. And for no justifiable reason, I'm looking at the three of you for an answer.
Alice is gonna.
I'm thinking that I should go back and get those papers, Bianca. There's some shit going on back home that at least I think we need to check in.
I'm
Alice
worried
been-
that we think we're chasing, and whatever this is knows more about us than I think we realized. Go ahead, Alice. Sorry.
Alice finishes off her toast, puts down her cutlery, says, "Well, it's not over yet. Let's run the Russian to ground and then head back to Chicago."
We're going to Chicago tomorrow, so you've got a day.
I'll stand up. I'll see if Del Toro can help.
Okay. So we do a little bit of a montage of Alice heading over to the Palacio Postal to check the post office box. And there is, in fact, a scribbled note in there from Mr. Del Toro. It's dated today. It's dated like an hour or so ago. He put a time on it. So like around the time you guys were having breakfast, he says, saw the Russian go into Brooks's apartment. Looked pretty hurt. I think he's still up there. Thought you should know.
This mother effer.
I'll be at the cafe
Alice
across
will
the street.
Oh, okay. Oh, when she reads that, she's already got a pen out, but then she puts it back and she's going to head over to the cafe.
Okay. Sorry, it looks like he meant the cafe across the street from Brooks's
the
apartment.
cafe. Oh, okay.
The one where you guys sort of met.
In that
the
case,
first
she'll
time.
leave a. Yeah. Okay. She'll leave a note for him. Brooks is no longer a problem. Hopefully, see you soon. And otherwise, take care. And I'm going to head back to the hotel to get the others.
Okay.
Alice, I hope you wasn't wanting to eat this. I sort of finished it off for you. I hate seeing good.
That's fine. Not a problem. I think Del Toro came through. The Russians at Brooks's apartment.
I stand up immediately.
Right now.
Let's go.
Yep.
Okay. You guys gather your things and make your way over there. Apartment the building looks much like it did. You've still got, there's a little cafe across the street, and you see Del Toro sitting there, who kind of raises his cup of coffee and salute as he sees you coming down the sidewalk.
I'll head straight to him.
Okay.
So, sit down. Well, I don't think you got my note because you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for letting us know.
Sure, it seemed
Brooks
like the
is
kind
no
of
longer
thing.
a problem.
I probably don't want to know anything more than that.
No. Now it's just the Russian.
Okay.
He hasn't left yet.
Mm-mm. Unless he snuck out the back door.
We've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you think you could help us get into the building? I'm not sure if the same concierge is still there, but
I mean, he's
may
seen
have left
me.
a bit of a bad impression.
He's seen me come there and leave messages, so I mean, he knows me, but I don't know if he's inclined to let me up. And then, kind of as he's looking over at the door of the building, he kind of, just kind of taps on the table a couple times and looks over, and you can see coming out the front door of the apartment building is the Russian. He's got a different set of clothes on that don't especially fit him well. It's like the jacket's a little short, that kind of thing. And he's got a suitcase in his hand, and he is walking straight down the sidewalk in the opposite direction. Looks like he's looking around, and you see him actually signaling for a cab.
Okay. Alice sees that, and she's got to get up. I don't know where Sal and
I was imagining I was still kind of hanging out in front of the hotel waiting for you to have your conversation.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well then in that case, let me.
If you guys haven't noticed, I'm bursting out the cafe and I'm saying, "There,
so
stop him."
James, why don't you and I both make an what do I want to call that? Alertness. I'm switching back and forth between game systems.
I know. Trust me, I get it.
Let's just each roll a d6 and see who notices each other first.
All right.
No, I don't want 2d6. That's cheating.
All right, that answers that.
All right, so you are looking over at the. Why did that roll out for Alice? That's weird. But
Probably
yeah,
never selected her token.
You are looking over at the conversation. You're kind of scanning the sidewalk. So he basically, and the rest of you see this. He basically comes out the door, kind of sees James and just without missing a beat just turns in the other direction and starts going down the sidewalk, which is about the point I think when Alice is kind of like to James.
Sal's going to take off after him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's still pretty beat up. I'm going to say that he gives you a decent chase. But you're able to kind of, I mean, are you going to just tackle him? You kind of trying to pull him into an alley somewhere? What's the objective here?
I think, I prefer not to make a huge scene on the sidewalk. If we can manhandle him to a limited privacy, that'd be great.
I mean, there are certainly a lot of people, looking as you go chasing this guy down the sidewalk. But you're able to get him before too long and, kind of pull him off to the side between a couple buildings. I imagine Adrian and Sal and Ganji, for that matter, can catch up pretty quickly.
I've got my gun out under his chin, waiting for Alice to show up.
Okay. He looks kind of, he's a strong guy. You feel like he could break out of your grip if he wanted to, but he looks like he's kind of resigned to what's going on here. So he doesn't say anything, but he also doesn't try anything.
There's a part of me that would love him too, but
and while you've got him cornered here, you can see that he does have like a 45 in his waistband.
Yeah,
I imagine one of you will free him of.
Yeah. I'll hand it right to Sal.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So the rest of the group catches up. What are we doing here?
We're in an alleyway. I think Alice is going to motion you to move further back.
Okay.
And she's going to step up to him and say, "Where were you heading?" Bangkok?
And he looks like he was about to say something smart and thought better of it. And he said, "To the airport. I want out."
I'm going to look for a ticket on his person.
He doesn't have one. He has, you search him. It's not difficult. He has a large amount of cash in his wallet, but he doesn't seem to have a ticket yet. Then again, in this day and age, a lot of times you go to the airport and buy the ticket.
Right.
Yeah.
But that tells me whether this was planned or not. So obviously unplanned.
Yeah. I would say you probably see a little bit of blood on the edge of that money. So that might've been what was in that safe.
Got it.
And then where? Flight 2?
Probably to the States first. Figure out what's going on.
You can keep being cagey, and I'm going to shoot you. And you're not flying anywhere. Or you can tell this woman everything, and then you and your petty cash can go wherever the hell you want. But this is... You being cagey like this is a wonderful last decision.
Look, I don't know what you want from me. Brooks hired me to be an enforcer for him. I did that. I got good money. I got free drugs. I was a happy man. I didn't want any of that crazy shit that was going on in the basement. Tried to stay away from it as much as I can.
Tell us all about... You were there. You were there long. Tell us all you know about that crazy shit, because you were in on that. You were getting notes from Bangkok from Daniel.
And you see the fact that you say that shakes him a little bit.
Yeah.
He says,
you want out? You want out and you want to live? You tell us all you know right now.
Look, these people in Bangkok, they're all part of the same thing. They have another one of those things in the basement, as far as I know. They're all trying to outdo each other and how much of the shit they can make and sell. She thought whatever he was doing over in the Yucatan in the jungle was going to be important, so she wanted to know what his people found there. Yeah.
SS.
When did you leave your home country?
6, 7 years ago.
Tumultuous times over there. Started out strong for just a moment. Then- I was gonna do something serious, Greg. Thanks for that.
Sorry.
Thanks, Greg.
I just
Thanks,
love Doc so much. I'm
It's
sorry.
great. She's great.
Thanks for that.
Mhm.
Sorry. That's my
Just about
fault.
to go in a monologue, just like
You could continue. Don't ignore me. I'm just fanboying over here a little bit.
I'm not from Europe, but a lot of my friends when I was in university told me all about the news articles that came out back in 18. Then it all went to shit.
Yeah, you could say that.
Dreams of the people squandered by the greed of the few, right? Sound a bit familiar?
I've heard 100 stories about it, but, nothing ever really changes.
Seems about pretty spot on for what's happening here.
Mhm.
And you really went out, don't you?
Look, I'm really good at hitting people. I'm really good at killing people if they need killing. But Brooks has lost his goddamn mind. Had, I guess.
He's lost it too. Yep.
So,
Wow.
I was going to ride it as long as I could.
you know how far this spiral goes. You left it and you went right back in. So come on. If there's anything else, tell us.
What do you want? There's this thing in the basement that makes this nectar or whatever they call it that they sell to people. And
Why did everyone believe in this so much? His men down there, they were grieving. Not him, they were grieving. Whatever this was, it could have been grieving him, but it was a cause, wasn't it? Why is this something people believe in?
they were probably grieving because they were addicted to the shit and they knew there wasn't any more coming.
The drugs are still being made then.
Yeah, not here. Unless you got somebody with a steam shovel to get back into where that thing is.
And you never took any.
Oh,
You
sure
never
I
tried
did.
it?
Oh, yeah.
The orange stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's a hell of a rush.
One final question from me then. Does this supply only go to his men? Or was he planning to bring this operation to the public?
Oh, no. He's been selling it for a year or more now.
A year?
Yeah, at least.
Where? In the US and Singapore?
Mostly
Mexico,
here.
everywhere?
No, they
Mostly
got,
here.
I know they got people elsewhere, but this was, pretty much Mexico City. He was talking about branching out.
So it's already on the streets.
Oh, yeah. Not for much longer, though.
Do you have any more information about her in Bangkok, SS?
Never met her.
Address? How did you get in contact?
She reached out to me. She and Lohman. I guess Lohman reached out on her behalf to me. Once I was in his organization, it was, I guess, a couple months after I joined up. He reached out to me and said he wanted a man on the inside to see what was going on. He gave me good money. Yeah, none of them trust each other.
Did you ever meet her?
Sorry. Go ahead, Alice. Nope.
Did you ever meet her? I mean, how do you know it's a her?
He referred to her as her, so I guess I don't know.
You say you're out. That means you're out in Mexico, out in Singapore, out from Lohman. Everybody? You're done?
So
quicker answer than that.
No, here's the thing. If I can kick this shit, and I think I can, I've been through worse before, then I'm just going to get a nice clean job breaking legs somewhere in the States or in South America, wherever they need me.
Noble profession.
James, we can give you a referral. Can you give up Loman? If we get off the plane in Singapore, where do we go?
Look, all I got are telegrams. Can't be that many American names in Bangkok, yeah?
Because it gave us an address too. I'm just saying that to James.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Do you know grubby little greasy sort of fellow that may have worked for Brooks, delivering shit or something? Unkempt.
You've just described pretty much everybody who lived in that house.
Okay. Any of them known to go on vacation? Or any
These
that's
are-
been out for a few days?
Not that I noticed, but I mean these are street beaters. They transport the stuff, they make deals, they deal with the dealers, they come and go. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup at this point.
Fair
And
enough.
Brian, as these conversations are going and he's giving us more and more information, I'm getting less and less threatening in the process. Not letting my guard down completely, but
Right.
I'm rewarding him for talking. So at this point, I don't even have the gun pointed at him anymore.
Right.
Um,
I would say maybe not James, since he's kind of focused, but Sal or Alice might notice that there certainly have been a couple people kind of peering down the alleyway kind of quizzically. They almost certainly saw that you had this guy up against the wall with a gun. No idea if any of them would call the police or not, but you've been noticed. I'll put it that way.
SS honesty. As we've been talking, Sal's been listening. Sal's looking for, indicators that he may be concealing information or maybe lying.
Sure. Go ahead and spend me a point. You get from him that basically it sounds like he definitely was ready to be done with this, because it sounds like, when he was saying, Brooks has gone crazy and he's lost his mind, that was all pretty genuine. You get the sense that he might try and go to Bangkok or one of the other locations just because he can still get a supply of what he needs and a job, but you don't think he's sure about that yet. It seems to you that he's probably planned as far as getting away from you and out of Mexico, and that's as far as it's gone so far.
Okay.
Addiction isn't easy to beat.
Yeah.
Are you really sure you won't go try to get more supply?
Who can say what the future holds, huh? I'm trying to get off it. I'm trying to kick it, but it's tough.
If you are going to the States for a while, I'd recommend avoiding Chicago, probably so New York and, Los Angeles.
Sure, okay.
Don't really know much to say to help you in this case. I've talked to a lot of people who've dealt with addiction, but usually I've had a nice office with nice cushiony chairs to sit them in and talk them through it.
Well,
Wasn't
give me a
exactly an
card. I'll
alleyway.
look you up.
if you reach for a card.
Look at James. Just puts it, just second, drops it gently on the ground, just in case.
Yeah, I pick it up.
So are we done here?
I give a nod to Alice and Doc and Sal, like I'm done.
Alice is going to step forward And I imagine he's quite a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not that tall. She's not petite, but.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to stare straight at him. And then I say, you get the one chance. Go clean. Get out. Or you'll end up just like Brooks. And I'm going to jab him where he was shot.
And he kind of winces, but he doesn't. He kind of grits his teeth and holds it in.
And
but it clearly hurt.
It's like,
okay.
Sal's going to say, oh, go ahead.
Don't make me regret it. No, don't make me make you regret it. And then I'm going to step back and walk down the alleyway.
Okay. Hey, one more thing. Which one of you made the shot?
That would be me.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah. And Boris, we see your face again. I have no idea what his name is.
I know. We've established even when you know what a foreigner's name is, you don't care.
He won't miss a second time. We're chasing this down.
He didn't miss last time, you know.
No, he did because you're standing here.
Next time it'll be in the head.
So good luck.
Nice meeting you too.
Hey, good luck in getting off the shit, though.
Alice is walking towards the cab, or
okay.
A cab?
Yeah, he never actually got around to pulling a cab, but you can head back to the sidewalk.
Alice is going to hail, because I assume we came with a cab, or did we come with our car?
You guys have a car. You could certainly.
Take it. Okay. Alice is just walking to the car and sitting in the, just sits up front in shotgun.
At her most dangerous position.
I know.
Now she's serious.
Before Adrian leaves the alleyway, just turns back around one time and says, one last word to the wise. Whenever you're looking for employers, if they start promising anyone they have answers, don't listen.
Very nice.
And he kind of nods. Yeah, and you think he agrees with that, although he doesn't say anything. And if you guys don't stop him, he picks up his suitcase and turns around and heads the other way down the alleyway. All right. And it sounds like you guys are going to pack up and head back to Chicago, or is there any other unfinished business here? All right. Well, I think this would...
Should we drive by the house and see how much of it's left?
On the way back to the airport.
It's on the way to the airport.
On the way to the airport.
Can I do one last thing?
Sure.
It's just going to go check on our two guides that we've left in other people's care, Rick and Pedro.
They seem to have, well, let me look at each of them in turn.
I think Pedro was.
Oh no, they're back. They were back in the Yucatan. They're back in Merida.
No. Are the two guys that survived? Pedro holed himself up in a church whenever he got back to Mexico City. And...
No. That was back in Merida. That was in Yucatan.
Oh, it was in Merida.
They didn't come back to Mexico
That's
City.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's right. Sorry.
No worries. All right. So I think at this point we can probably roll some end credits and come back and talk about the session and what happens next.
Be right back.
In a mansion grand where secrets lie, Walter Winston lived, but he had to die. His daughter Janet, fierce and bold, hired a team to find the stories untold. Oh, Walter Winston, Mr. Mystery Man, caught in a web of a sinister plan, with cults and crimes and shadows so dark. His story ignites like a match to a spark. Ex-cop, doc, gangster, nurse in the mix, unraveling truths in a dance of tricks. Swinging through secrets, meet the moon's gleam. They chase the spurs of a deadly dream.
we are back.
Well, that I think went considerably better than it might have.
Yeah, it could have. There was a lot of potential paths there. I like the one we took.
Yeah, no, that worked out okay. Yeah, no, but you guys made a lot of smart decisions. You know, you took out the people that counted, and you were able to back up away from the big monster. You know, good use of dynamite. 10 out of 10 handling of the situation, I think. So let's talk about some thoughts and stars and wishes. Starting with you, Chris.
I think for me, I think the star would be Alice because she's really stepped up into the role. And Sal doesn't like, getting like shut down like he did when he suggested going out the tunnel, but he recognizes that she is much more adept at leadership than he could ever be. And so he recognizes that. He's okay with that. He's okay with someone else calling the shots and so yeah, I think Naomi, you did a fantastic job of leading and appropriate reactions. So kudos to you. Wishes? I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm here for the ride. I'm enjoying it. Brian, you're doing fantastic, and looking forward to the next session.
Absolutely. All right, Mac, how about you?
There's a bit of a strange challenge playing Adrian today, which is Adrian is a character that at any point would be a perfect evil mastermind, but is choosing every day not to be. So I had him like at least 5 different things lined up that he could say to James to break him immediately. But he had to choose not to. So that's why he was so quiet, because he knew anything he said right now would just be to break people. So he just didn't talk.
I love it. Doc wakes up every day and chooses nonviolence.
I choose peace, be grateful. Stars, I really like how the combat was run. I really like seeing how combat's run with different systems, and I think that Brian, you are really good at just handling it quickly with staying true to the mechanics, but also kind of working with them, and without them.
Yeah, Trail is not a super combat heavy system, obviously, but I think there are times when it's the right thing to do, and I try and keep it moving and keep it interesting. So thank you for that.
My friends running Kids on Brooms had to figure out how to do combat for that system. Yeah, I really loved the combat. It felt very smooth and very emotionally jarring. Wishes, I'm really excited to go back to Chicago to see the backstory tellers a bit, because I really want to know why James left the Force, and I really want to know what Sal saw that killed his mom.
It's gonna be interesting.
And I just want to see
with us this whole time.
And I just want to see Alice kill somebody with a car in Chicago. Nice venue change.
Sure, yeah, exactly. Everybody speaks English there, mostly.
I'm pretty sure that Sal could, point her in the right direction.
Just a whole scene of Alice in the DMV.
All right, Naomi, what do you have for us? Any thoughts about the plot or stars and wishes?
I think thoughts. I really don't know. I still haven't figured out myself. We've got the mouse. Is the mouse something else than in the pyramid, or is it something? So it's. I think I'm as confused as Alice. I just know, that's bad. We need to take that out, and we're not done yet. So, just but we're being fed, or it's. I think Alice and myself as well is just okay. One step, and then we'll get there, and we'll take care of it. And so I'm not quite sure. Not really any thoughts. Just enjoying it. I think my star has to be Sal and Bianca.
Oh my God!
That interaction was. I just the interaction itself, just love to see Sal in that way. And then it's like, oh my God, they found the anchor, they found us, or at least, it's hitting close to home.
Absolutely.
We were international agents of chaos, and no backlash, and we had Chicago was safe, and that's where we'd stash everything. But no, it's not safe there. They found it. They left something for us there, and they left it with Bianca. And so I think the interaction, and then just all of a sudden, okay, it's not Bangkok, we're going back to Chicago. That for me was, I really, really loved that.
I love that. Yeah.
So, I think Wishes is I think I've got a second what Max said. I hope in Chicago we get to explore some more backstories for Sal and James and all of us.
Okay.
So, a bit of an interlude from the from the overarching plot, and see how that.
We can't escape the plot. We aren't going to escape the plot.
The plot comes into our backstory, so I really love that.
Yeah.
Also, I did just want to say one thing from the scene with Sal and Bianca. Just, I'm hurting in my soul. Just, that was so good. That was such a good line.
Yeah, I love bringing things like that back. And, it's always one of the most terrifying things you do in a game like this, which means this thing can hit you where you live. And I love those moments.
And you just didn't see it coming. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you might have seen it coming in one of the previews, but of course the character didn't see it coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Craig, take us home, man.
So I had 2 stars. The first one is not a star for this session, but I think the star of these 14 episodes, and it was watching, I'm going to mimic Naomi here. I was watching you and Chris slip into role play, and both of you being honest and believable with that interaction. It's those moments which makes me always come back to this hobby. And it's when you have that level of trust between 2 people at the table, and you just put it out there and you react and you listen to each other. It was just really phenomenal. My other star though is for you, Brian, because, and I don't know how clear it was to everybody watching, but I threw a bit of a curveball with my sister Mary, and you caught it and you ran with it. And again, it added to it, and it seemed like it had always been true. And I would not have done that with everybody, but I knew I could do it with you, right? Which is cool.
That is one of the things I love about tables like this, and honestly, most of the tables I've been a part of on the Third Floor Wars, because you've got a great community here, Craig, as I think you know, is that these are people who will pick up the little things, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me.
It's literally, I think if someone said, what is the joy of the hobby? That is what it is for me, is having, what we saw with the Bianca Chris interaction and what you and I did as well. Thoughts? I think we're at a point where James has resigned, that he's not coming out the other side of this. At least not as James or alive, one of those 2 things, which I think is the only reason he didn't say to the 3 of you, I'm done. I think the fact that he is going to continue doing this tells me as his player that he's going to take this to the end, and it's probably going to be his end. What form that takes, I don't know, but I think that's a big turning point for James at this point, is saying, okay, we're going to go back to Chicago. Then I'm going to get on a plane with you and I'm going to go to Singapore. I think that's what I'm learning about James at this point, and kind of where he is. Wishes, Yeah, I think Chicago's going to be interesting. I'm dying to know what's in that book on your desk right now, Sal. I think that's going to be really, really interesting. I'm also interested to see how this is not going to be a whack-a-mole type situation, right? We know there's a mouth here, we know there's a mouth there, but I know that there's going to be more given as we go, right? So it's not going to just be a whack-a-mole type situation. So I'm very interested. There's obviously several layers still for us to dive into this thing, where I feel like we're just at the surface still and just uncovering the first layer. So I'm very anxious to see where it's headed. I'm really glad that I have no familiarity with this. I've never heard anybody talk about Eternal Eyes as far as what's in it, other than it's great. So it's very fun for me as a player.
Awesome.
I know for me, kind of echoing Craig, Sal was really kind of struggling with the decision to go forward. I mean, he's like, how much are we going to give for this job?
Yep.
But when he called Bianca, and okay, now it's personal,
Right.
So now he wants to go break some legs, break some heads, and get some answers.
Yep. Well, it would have told us, Chris, is that we can't go back, right? That this isn't, and I think it was either Naomi and Mac that made the point where, like, this isn't, Chicago safe, and we can go out and be our international men and women of mystery. Now we do need, Bianca is not safe.
Yep.
Mary's having dreams, right? So yeah,
Yep.
no, I've said this a million times, but when you're playing these types of games, I think it's fun to figure out why your investigator, your bard, your, spy, whatever it is that you're playing, why do they keep going? And instead of trying to say, well, would they keep going? Make the decision. We're going to keep going, right? We're going to play this game. That's why we're here. But the fun is figuring out why. Why does I know what the answer is, but now I need to figure out how I got to that answer. And it's a really interesting way to think about it as a player. You're gonna press the button. So what is it about your character that makes them press the button? Which I think is very interesting.
For sure.
Speaking of interesting, a week from today, you're going to see Brian, myself, and Naomi playing Shiver Gothic. We left it at a hell of a point. We've got Winston Churchill, or Winston Churchill's mother up against a wall, possessed by a ghost. So if you want to figure out how we got there, you should go catch up on Shiver
It's been a whole thing.
It's been a thing. It has been a thing. But very much appreciate it. We'll see everybody in a week or two.
Thanks, everybody.
Wow.
Cheers, all.
Howdy friends, thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.